to Annual Forum of Parliamentarians for Global Action and the 13th consecutive Assembly of Parliamentarians. Welcome to Islamabad. I sincerely appreciate the support that Speaker National Assembly of Pakistan Sardar Ayaz Sadiq Sahab and Sayyid Naveed Qamar, President PGA, for hosting this pivotal conference in Pakistan. Their support, as well as Mr. Shamoon's here, has been invaluable. Of course, that goes for the entire staff of IPS and the National Assembly Secretariat. I also want to take this opportunity to appreciate Her Excellency Ms. Monica Adame, the Secretary General for PGA, and her entire Secretariat for their relentless efforts in organizing the conference and bringing together parliamentarians from very many parts of the world for promoting the rule of law and human rights. I do hope that your flights were comfortable and you had a good night's rest to get your teeth into this, we hope, a very productive convening today. Ladies and gentlemen, the current turbulent, divisive, polarized and troubling state of the world is not one we have either dreamt of or planned for, let alone one we should or could live in. This is not the world we dreamt of, and this is not the multilateral order that we hoped would take us all to a better world where we all coexist peacefully after the Second World War. Today, war crimes and genocide are on the rise in ways that shame humanity. They shame all of us. Economic inequality has created sharp pyramids of privilege and exclusion as well as deprivation. And climate change, well, climate change is the meta trend that transcends all. It will impact and possibly destroy the water and the food we depend on, the air we breathe, and the planet we live on. It is time to take all of these issues by the horns and take them very seriously. Both the surge in wars and the impunity for crimes together pose urgent challenges for peace and security. What it also does, and here I will take the liberty of taking the P word and the K word, which are Palestine and Kashmir, which are clear examples, clear and present examples of impunity and double standards. What they do is they delegitimize multilateral order and they challenge the rules that civilization and humanity should be counting on right now to bring the 21st century back to a world defined by universal laws, and I emphasize universal, climate justice and global economic equality, and for peace not to become a cliche that we bandy around. We have gathered here for a collective discussion, debate, and I hope a serious call to action. This is what parliaments do best, and I'm looking forward to PGA members coming here and bringing their views, their priorities, their insights, and their very valuable championing of rights across the world. This forum has successfully helped create an environment, in my view, that promotes change through discourse that accommodates from all over the world, particularly those that can navigate, that need to navigate differences between us. Because, ladies and gentlemen, differences are what is defining the rising conflict in this world, and it is up to us now to be seeking to build bridges between politicians, national and international stakeholders, as well as society and parliamentarians. The current conference, ladies and gentlemen, is yet another opportunity for all of us to play that role. Over the course of next 2 days, we will be engaging in open dialogue on a range of issues that includes furthering the progress towards establishing affirmative and an effective international mechanism in the fight against impunity for international crimes. The word impunity recurs again and again in our minds, in our hearts, and in our living rooms when we watch TV every day. That is what is eroding multilateral order. So I think it's important to address these needs for my country and others. Two crucial improvements emphasize the need for this internationalization of criminal justice, which has been failing and faltering. It has been failing and faltering, make no mistake. So the first issue, obviously, is, as we have been discussing, impunity. And it is coming about because there is no move to take action or punish international perpetrators in front of our very eyes. In fact, I think that we have seen such a rise, such an egregious surge in impunity, war crimes, and even conflict. We have today we have more conflicts raging in the world today since the Second World War than ever. But that is something to think about. Those conflicts are not getting resolved, and it is time for us to consider why there are double standards that now are taking over the world. First, it was a search for universal laws, but today that is certainly not the reality. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to conclude by just quickly going through what the ICC was established to do, to hold accountable those accused of serious international crimes such as genocide and war crimes. Genocide again has come to the surface into our lives as a word again, as a reality again, in two of the zones I just mentioned recently, Kashmir, occupied Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir, and Palestine. Yet, we are facing serious challenges in gaining universal acceptance due to flaws in the international legal structure and complaints and concerns about inequality in applying laws impartially and with fairness towards states. Concerns over the ICC's jurisdiction remain, particularly regarding issues that pertain to domestic courts, and they have led to many countries hesitating about ratifying the Rome Statute. We must acknowledge that any attempt to do so, move forward in terms of territorial integrity and sovereignty, would not perhaps be acceptable to many states. So what is our task ahead? Our task ahead is to look at ways in which universal laws can align suitably, effectively, democratically, impactfully with country laws that can move forward to free the influence and even the Security Council of power dictating how we proceed. That is what is happening in the world today. So these, based on our experience over the past 2 decades and the provisions of Article 13b and 16 of the Rome Statute, it is evident that the ICC lacks or needs independence due to the broad powers given to the Security Council to pick and choose. Now, I'm not going to take more time. We have many eminent speakers, 2 more before, and we have a long day ahead of us. So I just look forward to meeting with you all and a productive and rich debate and learning from each other, because that is the journey. That is the journey that all good parliamentarians are always on. Learning from each other, speaking to each other, and not at each other. Let us hope we can use these 2 days to align our hopes and dreams with what we have come here for. Thank you very much.
इजलास के तमाम शुरका को खुश आमदीद कहते हैं। मौसमियाती तब्दीलियों के असरात को संजीदगी से लेना होगा। दौलत की गैर मुनसिफाना तकसीम इंसाफ की राह में रुकावट है। कश्मीर और फ़लस्तीन में इंसानी हकूक़ की संगीन खिलाफ वर्जियाँ हो रही हैं। कश्मीर और फ़लस्तीन में इंसानी हकूक़ की इन खिलाफ वर्जियों पर आलमी बरादरी की खामोशी अफसोसनाक है। चैलेंजेस के हवाले से तमाम ममालिक को मिलकर हिकमत अमली तश्कील देना होगी ताकि फ्यूचर के अहदाफ को बेहतर तरीके से हासिल किया जा सके। पार्लियामेंटेरियंस फॉर ग्लोबल एक्शन सालाना फोरम के 13वें इजलास की इफ्तिताही तकरीब सेनेटर शहरी रहमान इजहार ख्याल कर रही थी। आगाह कर रहे हैं आपको पार्लियामेंटेरियंस फॉर ग्लोबल एक्शन के सालाना फोरम के 13वें इजलास के, जिसकी इफ्ताही तकरीब से इजहार ख्याल कर रही थी सेनेटर शेरी रहमान। और अपने इब्तदाइये में उनका कहना था कि इजलास के तमाम शुरका को इस्लामाबाद में खुशामदीद कहते हैं। मौसमियाती तब्दीलियों के असरात को संजीदगी से लेना होगा। मौसमियाती तब्दीलियों से पैदाशुदा असरात ख़ित्ता अर्ज़ पर होने वाली तब्दीलियों के हवाले से इंतहाई ख़तरनाक हैं। दौलत की गैर मुनसिफाना तकसीम इंसाफ की राह में रुकावट है। कश्मीर और फ़लस्तीन के हवाले से उन्होंने बात की और इस पर गुफ्तगू करते हुए उनका कहना था कि इंसानी हकूक़ की इन दोनों खित्तों में शदीद खिलाफ वर्जियाँ हो रही हैं। कश्मीर और फ़लस्तीन में इंसानी हकूक़ की खिलाफ वर्जियों पर आलमी बरादरी की खामोशी अफसोसनाक है। पार्लियामेंटेरियंस फॉर ग्लोबल एक्शन सालाना फोरम का 13वां इजलास इफ्तिताही तकरीब के हवाले से आपको अपडेट कर रहे हैं। इस इजलास की इफ्तिताही तकरीब से चंद लम्हे पहले खिताब कर रही थी सेनेटर शेरी रहमान। और इजलास के आगाज़ में इब्तदाइये में इजहार ख्याल में उनका कहना था कि इजलास के तमाम शुरका को इस्लामाबाद में खुश आमदीद कहते हैं। सबसे पहले उन्होंने मौसमियाती तब्दीलियों के हवाले से बातचीत की कि रुए ज़मीन को जो है वो महफूज रखने के हवाले से और आने वाली नस्लों को बेहतर मुस्तकबिल की फराहमी के हवाले से मौसमियाती तब्दीलियों के असरात को संजीदगी से लेना होगा।
Members of Parliament from around the globe, members of Parliament from Pakistan, honorable ambassadors and diplomats present here, members of the civil society, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. This is a moment of pride for me that I, as the global president of Parliamentarians for Global Action, am able to bring PGA to Pakistan in a big way. This dream started in Buenos Aires when I was elected president, that it's about time we start putting Pakistan back on the global map of parliamentarians, leaders, activists, and those who care for human rights and the rights of the people around the world. Indeed, the pride is that you are here as leaders of your communities, as leaders of your countries, getting together on this platform for one goal, which is how to make this a better world for the people that we represent. How to make this a world in which our people would be able to breathe, to eat, to drink, to earn a livelihood for themselves and their families without fear of favor. That is the primary goal of PGA. PGA can be set apart from almost all other organizations, because here each person who signs that form, either online or in person, is committing himself or herself to the greater good of humanity. Unlike the other organizations, parliamentary organizations, which are in some ways obligatory, where our assemblies or our countries or our states join and are recognized as such. So you take stated positions and put them across like you would at the UN or any other such forum. But here those shackles are lifted. Here you are a parliamentarian and therefore free to express your views for anything that you believe in, or express to your views to even inquire as to what should you be believing in. A forum like this provides that opportunity. A lot of us are not necessarily exposed to the issues that inflict our populations globally. We may each have our own set of problems that we identify in our communities, because our voters will make sure that we know about those. But then there are certain issues that for the greater good we need to learn from each other, from each other's experiences, from each other's successes as well as failures. Today when we get together to discuss CAP ICC, we have to also examine, being a democratic forum, what are the gains and what are the losses? What did the National Criminal Code set out to achieve, and how far has it achieved it? If there have been failures, then what are the causes? Of course, over the next 2 days, I hope this is an open debate. As I said, there are no straitjackets that we are wearing. We openly express our viewpoint, and if we don't agree or don't understand, debate it more, so that we can at least get to some minimum agenda, because that will all contribute to the greater good of humanity. As we sit here, PGA represents, and CAP ICC is only one program that PGA supports. There's various other programs. Not just democracy and its rise and decline, which I believe will be perhaps next year's theme, but social areas also. Pakistan, I'm proud to say that I had, with the help of PGA, moved a bill for transgender rights and got it passed in this country. But the challenges, so it is global translating into local. That's where the parliamentarians also come in. What do we learn from around the world and how we make it applicable in our own parliaments and in our own system? Each one of us who's a member of parliament and is committing himself or herself to these rights is also pledging to, when we go back home, that we will do more, and not merely on this one topic that we might be talking about today, but various other topics. I welcome you that you have traveled from far and wide, from Latin America, from Africa, from we need to activate PGA more in Asia, and Europe. So there's no continent which is not represented here, and which is where we cannot be sure that tomorrow we will have somebody spreading the message somebody pushing for these issues. As Sherry mentioned, climate is the next big challenge for us globally. And climate is not something that any individual country or even a region can resolve by itself. Climate is an area where we need global effort. Each one experiences it in our own ways. But at the end of the day, if we have to keep the earth from turning into a sun, we have to ensure that in our own individual countries, environments, we make the strides. I can say that when our national group leader sits at any table, and he just pointed that out, that these plastic bottles should be banished from all forums. We have National Assembly as well as in the cabinet. She won't let us live without that. But it has to spread more. So we as a parliamentarian, each one of us has to think within ourselves as to what can I do today to make this a better world for my voters, for my people. And that's a message that I would like everyone here to take back home. Sit down, give your viewpoint, debate, argue, but when you had finished it and go back, take a list of to-do things. When I go back home, these are the things that I'm going to do to make this a better world. Once again, let me thank first our chief guest here, who's also the host, for all the support that I got from the National Assembly of Pakistan for organizing this. His staff, his secretariat, Mr. Hashmi, Ali, who has been the focal person here, the staff of the Parliamentary Institute, who have been immensely helpful in making sure they have put in their effort. Now it is for us to utilize that effort and appreciate it once we go through these 2 days. So ladies and gentlemen, I won't keep us away from the actual debate that is to start once we move out of this tent and into the auditorium. But I hope that it will be lively, it will be useful, and see you through the next 2 days. And anything that we can do, anything that we have missed out on the hospitality, please be forthcoming. I see a number of my old friends sitting here. So I know that you would always be the first to come and tell me, but others that are new and new to Pakistan, please, this is your home. Feel free to tell us what you need, and we'll make our effort to make sure that those needs are fulfilled. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, as over 46 parliamentarians from 25 countries in person and delegates from 14 countries virtually gather here for the 45th Annual Forum of PGA, it is indeed a red letter day in the history of parliamentary diplomacy of the National Assembly of Pakistan. Initiated, designed and put in place by none other than Sardar Ayaz Sadiq, the only speaker in Pakistan's parliamentary history to have been elected to the chair thrice. The Honourable Speaker's vision has led to the formation of over 100 parliamentary friendship groups with the parliaments world over, and our robust multilateral engagements at the Inter-Parliamentary Union, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Parliamentary Assembly of the ECO countries, 6 Speakers Conference, and dozens other similar forums. But his passion for engaging the youth is evident from the vibrant and by far the largest internship program by any single civil public sector institution at the National Assembly of Pakistan. And you may witness these beaming young bright faces in green and white who are here as ushers, who have been part of the alumni of the internship program initiated by Sadare Sadiq. May I request you, sir, for your inaugural address.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Honorable Sayyid Naveed Qamar, President of Parliamentarians for Global Action, my colleague and my friend, Deputy Speaker Sayyid Naveed Qamar, Sayyid Ghulam Mustafa Shah, Senator Shari Rahman, the President of Pakistan Chapter, Excellency Monica Adame, Secretary General Parliamentarians Global Action, Honorable Members of the Parliament, worthy member delegates, staff of PGA, National Assembly, PIPs, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Yes, Naveed Qamar Sahab has been elected to the Parliament for the 8th time, and we have a 5-year term, but he isn't that old that you start counting how old was he when he came to Parliament. But unfortunately, his 8 tenures, except since myself and my Honorable Deputy Speaker joined him in 2002 in the Parliament, these are the only parliaments that completed their terms. Before that, each and every parliament Sayyid Naveed Qamar was elected to did not complete their term. And Shari Rahman, I've known since 2002 as a parliamentarian. I must admit these are the 2 parliamentarians that most of the parliamentarians sitting here in Pakistan will acknowledge them not only to be senior, seasoned, very focused in what they do, persuasive. I myself have learned a lot from these 2 parliamentarians over the last 23 years. I have gained a lot. I have traveled with them. I have spent time in the Parliament, in the committees, and their vision is what I have adopted in many of our of the initiatives that the National Assembly of Pakistan took. So I acknowledge that, and I will keep on acknowledging it till I am a member of the Parliament, because he is not going to be there in PGA for 8 terms. So rest assured, you'll get enough chances to get others elected to PGA as President. It is my profound privilege to welcome you all from regions of the world in the serene capital of Pakistan at the highest level global 45th Annual Forum of Parliamentarians for the Global Action and the 13th Consultative Assembly of the Parliamentarians. Let me not read this. I think let's be very frank and straightforward with each other. There are a few subjects I would want to touch. When we become parliamentarians, our responsibility does not only restrict us for legislation. Our responsibility starts from each and every member in our constituency, in our city, in our province, and in our country. We are accountable and responsible to them. We have constituencies of almost 1 million people each. So if we start from there, the issues are huge. We are discussing one issue here at this conference, but the issues that need to be discussed are huge, tremendous, and the list is never ending. Drinking water is an issue, sanitation is an issue, stunting is an issue, and the list goes on and on. and it is the responsibility of us parliamentarians to play that role of improving the livelihood of the people of our constituency and our country. We do try, at times we succeed, at times we do not. But if we look internationally, these are the problems of each and every member of parliament, no matter what country you belong to, except where the local body systems are very progressive, very well established, where parliamentarians' responsibilities are restricted to legislation only. But unfortunately, we cannot close our eyes to the atrocities in Gaza, the women, children being martyred, hospitals being bombed. It's a very painful sight to watch that. And it is our responsibility to raise our voices in every parliament of the world where we should request for ending these atrocities. We should all unite together for raising a voice against such issues. And it is not only our responsibility, but God forbid it happen in our area or in our land. We don't want ever to see such a situation. If we look at the unresolved issue of Kashmir, it is still going on. Disappearances, mass graves, and issues that take place, that is also a responsibility, and the United Nations decisions are being flouted. We have to raise our voices. We have to stand up for such issues. Climate. In 2002, what we witnessed was the worst effect of climate. Pakistan contributes less than 0.5%, but 0.5% to the issues of climate. But unfortunately, the floods that took place, and my honorable colleague Sherry Rahman was the Minister for Climate Change, the way she fought on international forums in Pakistan and raised her voice really woke up the people of most of the countries of the world. She has been a champion of climate change, not only for Pakistan, but I think for the world. This is the way to go about, and I think again, now the new COP that is taking place in Azerbaijan, I think the raising of voice is extremely important there also. The issues are endless. 2 days are not good enough to tackle these issues. Your subject for this conference is restricted, so you will be exchanging views. Please do not hesitate. Just consider you are on the floor of the House where you have enough immunity that you cannot be questioned. So discuss in that manner. Discuss what you really think you can implement. Our main goal is going to be how can we implement, how can we follow up that the parliamentarians who are part of this PGA speak in their parliaments, speak at all international forums of raising these issues. The war crimes, the atrocities, humanitarian issues, they are piling up. They are increasing, not decreasing. Dialogue is the only way out. Wars ultimately end up on tables. They are discussed and they are resolved. But every day that passes by, it is painful when we see people losing their lives. So it is our responsibility collectively. I will request you, these 2 days you should utilize them to the best of your ability. And the National Assembly Secretariat, Mr. Naveed Kamar, thank Mr. Shamoon and PIPS, the National Assembly Secretariat. If there is anything that goes wrong, if there is any problem with hospitality, if there is any issue where you feel we have not been up to our mark, please complain, because Naveed Kamar is responsible, not me. Because this is his parliament. I am also a member like him in this parliament. So how can he shift the responsibility to me? I am one of the members who's been selected for a certain period, for a short period, and I cannot replace the 8 terms that he has taken. So please do not shift the responsibility, take the responsibility and make sure your friends and our guests who've traveled from abroad, they are taken good care of. All the needs are fulfilled, and I will assist Mr. Naveed Qamar along with my colleague, Deputy Speaker Sayyid Ghulam Mustafa Shah, so that we can make sure this conference is a success and we all should go back happy, taking good memories of your visit. Many of you must be visiting Pakistan for the first time. So I hope real Pakistan you're seeing, not the Pakistan that is televised all over the world in a negative way, but the real Pakistan. Thank you for taking out time coming to Pakistan. I see members from Africa, from South America, Europe is not attending very well. Asia you need to concentrate on. I think you need to engage more people in IPUs and other conferences. And I also got my membership through the courtesy of Sayyid Naveed Qamar. And unfortunately I have not paid my dues. I'll pay them today. So thank you all. I hope you have a good stay and we come out more productive. And anything we can do, we are always available. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening address. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the conclusion of the inaugural ceremony. As we break for tea,